यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य
ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः सर्वोपप्लवरहित प्रज्ञान घन प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्माहमस्मि सोहमस्मि ब्रह्माहमस्मि। ओम प्रपन्न पारिजाताय तोत्र वेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। May the Almighty Shri Lord Venkateshwara bestow all kinds of prosperity, health, wealth and eternal happiness with Paripurna Lakshmi Katakshams to you and the entire your family and friends. Let us begin Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 13, verse number 1. Arjuna uvacha prakritim purusham chaiva kshetram kshetrajnam evacha येतद् वेदितुमिच्छामि ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं च केशव. As we have seen in the last session, the 13th chapter, which is the first chapter of third Shatkam, from this chapter the topic is going to be related to the equation. Equation means what? That Aikya Bhavam or Aikya Jnanam between two realities, individual consciousness and total consciousness or collective consciousness. And not only that, it talks about completely Jnana Yogam. Jnana Yoga is the sadhana. So what exactly the Jnana Yoga? The knowledge which doesn't require for any karma. So without karma, only pure knowledge can be means for moksha. Then Sadguna Sampattihi. These three topics alone going to be there as a subject for this 6th chapter. This chapter begins with Arjuna's question, in which he asks the detail about 6 kinds of technical terms. So he begins with Prakritihi Purushaha, Kshetram Kshetrajnaha, then Jneyam Jnanam. So these 6 words he himself makes into two pairs. Means totally there are 3 pairs. Prakritihi Purushaha. Arjuna was not Adhama, means lower student. He was the best student. He could segregate. So Bhagavan spoke about individual reality and the collective reality. Now the technical terms which are used for individual and collective aspects. Now Purushaha means it seems to be individual aspects, but it is also collective aspects. Prakriti means it talks about also collective things. There are 2 things, Prakriti, Purusha, both regarding collective things. But both is not separated. So they are mingled. They look one and the same. In the same way, the body and the consciousness in the body, they are not separated, but the teaching separates in order to understand in thorough way. So now Arjuna has got the maturity. He is asking the questions with a kind of infrastructure, expecting to get a proper answer. By that answer, Arjuna will become satisfied. Yes, okay, whatever the thing that I have understood, it is right. So he wants to get the confirmation from Lord Krishna. Because of that, he put this question. Now Bhagavan knows why Arjuna is putting this question. Therefore, Krishna continues. Now the teaching begins of Aikya Bhava. From the first verse itself, Bhagavan is directly hitting the core of the subject matter. He just begins, let us read it. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Idam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetramityabhidhiyate Yetadyo Veti Tam Prahuhu Kshetrajna iti tadvidaha. Bhagavan begins from the Kshetram. Though the question began from Purusham Prakriti, but Bhagavan begins from Kshetram. Vedanta should begin with the individual details or details of an individual. Bhagavan says, Idam kshetram iti abhidhiyate. Idam means what? This. What is? Why, Swamiji, you said 3 times this? Because when we say the world is, we just forgot about ourselves. The body is. When you say world is, we never think, we hardly think about our existence. So only we are worried about these physical aspects of ourselves. These physical aspects alone is the place where we reside, where we dwell, where we experience, where we find ourselves. Not only that, where we experience our karma phalas. Therefore, this medium, this body is very important. We have to realize what exactly this instrument is. Details about this instrument can be called as a kshetram. This is a common word. This common word kshetram, it gives all kinds of meaning. Usually kshetram means it's known as agricultural land. That agricultural land in which you can sow a seed, it will become like a small crops which grows to be a plant, then you can get fruit out of it. Now a land can be called as a kshetra in which you can cultivate the things. In the same way, this kshetram, this land in which the karma phala have been cultivated, it's fructifying in every seconds, the fruits of the self agriculture. Therefore it is known as kshetram. Another meaning Bhagavan gives is kshiyate iti kshetram, that which disintegrates, that which decays and finally dies, also can be called kshetram. This kshetram has got few more names too. We call it shariram. Shariram means what? Shiryamana swabhavatvat. Shiryamana swabhava means what? That which decays, that which undergoes all kinds of modifications. Vedanta defines there are 6 kinds of modifications of this body. That 6 kinds of modifications are calculated by whom? The indweller of body. That indweller is known as kshetrajnaha, the knower of the body. But Bhagavan talks about kshetram in the first line. Idam kshetram. You feel this. This means it's very close to you, in which you can cultivate your karma phala, that which decays. And Acharya gives one more meaning. Kshatatranat, kshayat, ksharanat, kshatravatva, asmin karma phala nirvarte, he kshatramiti. He gives 3 meanings. First, it protects us from rain. It protects from the natural disaster. It protects us, means the indweller of body is being protected by this device called kshetram, in which also you can cultivate karma phalam. Therefore it is called kshetram. And that which undergoes modifications, that which disintegrates slowly, shanaihi, also can be called kshetram. Now there are 3 meanings which have been given by Acharya. Arjuna was amazed. Yes, isn't it? Because karma phala is due to this kshetram alone. But the cause of the karma phala, which is not mentioned here, kshetram means one more understanding. We have to be very careful with this understanding. Because our sharira has got 3 aspects, isn't it? The mind in which we experience ourselves, that is also known as kshetram. The mind and buddhi, where the thoughts are taking place. Therefore, the mind and buddhi and this body, everything together, it is known as kshetram. Whatever that we can objectify called kshetram. Now I can objectify my body, mind, and the emotions and the intellectual things. Not only that, this world around us, which is experienced by us, those worldly things also can be called kshetra. Now, kshetra means what? That which is inert. Science says there are only two things available in the creation, matter and consciousness. Now, all matters together called as kshetram. But though Bhagavan is not introduced all those meanings, but we have to understand here itself, that would help us to understand later on. In forthcoming verses, Bhagavan, he goes very fast. We may not able to understand there. Now, kshetram is a one word which gives so many meanings. It means the body which undergoes decay, the body which protects us from the natural things, and the body becomes a land where we can cultivate the things. And whatever can be experienced by us can be called kshetram. Not the experiencer, the experienced things are called kshetram. Now I am a kshetram for you. You are a kshetram for me. So real Vedanta has begun from this chapter. You have to be relaxed and careful enough. So every one of us become kshetram for ourselves. I can objectify me, you can objectify you, and you can objectify all world together. Then you can see everywhere. We can call all the people kshetra number 1, kshetram number 2, kshetram number 3. So like this, the perception now changes with this understanding, kshetram, which helps to cultivate karma pala, which protects us, which decays, that which goes under the modifications. So these all meaning to be understood first. Now one answer has been given. Then Krishna is defining the meaning of the next word called kshetrajnaha. Yetad yahaveti tam prahuhu kshetrajnaha iti. Kshetram veti iti kshetrajnaha. One who is the knower of this kshetram, experiencer of the kshetram, is called kshetrajnaha. Very simple. Now, in order to understand kshetrajnaha, first you know the meaning of kshetram. Kshetram means what? We have seen three meanings. The person, one who experiences it, that person can be called kshetrajnaha, knower of the kshetra, the illuminer of the kshetra, who is enlightens the kshetra. Kshetra is illumined by this object. Now this principle of understanding these words has been put in 4 points. Now this kshetrajnaha, who is experienced in the form of subject. Now you are a kshetrajnaha, I am a kshetrajnaha. Every individual body has got one kshetrajnaha, isn't it? Now this kshetrajnaha is named as Raghava, Krishna, Madhava, Madhusudana. Swamiji, all belongs to Lord Srinivasa's name, Venkateshwara's name. But people are different outside, Kartikeya, Ganesha. This kshetrajnaha alone has been given the name, but it's very unique. Kshetrajnaha is not an entity which is the property of this body, which is a product of this body, which is not even part of this body. This is the first point, we have to note it down. The kshetrajnaha, which is experienced in all the kshetram, it means the knower of the body, who is being experienced by in all the sharira in the form of I. In the form of I means what? As the first person, in the form of I being a subject, I can see you, I can hear you. I is the self-evident. I cannot experience your eye, you cannot experience my eye. That I is become kshetrajnaha. That kshetrajnaha is not a part of this kshetram called body, and not a product of body, and not the property of the body, a property of the body. Now this understanding, it takes us somewhere else. We live as thinking I am the part of body. which is wrong. Bhagavan denies from the beginning itself. You are not, you are part of body, my dear. Oh, is it so that who am I? You are not a property of the body also. That's what we think. Not a product, not even a property. Then the next point is, this consciousness is all pervasive. The second point is, this consciousness which is eternal. So which is eternal means when body undergoes the change, the knower of the body doesn't undergo the change. So he remains as an eternal entity. This is the second point. So birth comes and death comes. In between there are modifications. Body grows and changes and decay and it goes into unmanifestation. But this consciousness remain as it is. It means what? I never old. I never age. I never old means what? I never become old. I never age. I am 16 forever. Even we need not to say 16. I am, eternal entity. That Kshetrajnaha who is not becoming as a material for change. He remains as an eternal. And the third point is, this consciousness alone pervades all over the body, which illumines, which becomes substratum of all the functions of the body. The consciousness is all pervasive of our Sharira. Now when I touch here, my consciousness alone, it exists in the form of experience. Now I am experiencing the Kshetram being in the form of experiencer. Two things are experienced. Kshetram also experienced, Kshetrajnaha also experienced. This is the third point. The fourth point is, when body perishes, this Kshetrajnaha doesn't perishes. But one thing, there is no Sharira, there is no Kshetram to express. Therefore, it is not able to understand in limited way. It remains as the seer. This is the fourth point. So these 4 points must be kept with us. Finally, what is exactly the understanding must be Kshetrajnaha, completely independent entity. Kshetram, which doesn't have independence with that. Kshetram depends on Kshetrajnaha. Wow, this is the conclusion by these words. Bhagavan Krishna is very clear about it. There are two realities which exist in the form of experiences in our system. So now you are Kshetrajnaha, you have the experience of Kshetram. Yes, can you understand what I say? I have got two reality, Kshetrajnaha, Kshetram. I have the experience of myself and experience of the Sharira which undergoes the modifications. One is called Nityam, another is called Anityam. This is what the meaning we get out of this verse. Iti tadvidaha, the knower of the truth will divide into these two technical words. Now, every individual body is being divided by Shastra as knower of the truth, means as the knower of Kshetra and Kshetram. Kshetrajnaha, Kshetram. That's all. He goes a little bit elaborately, we'll continue. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata kshetra kshetrajnayor jnanam yatadjnanam matam mama. This is an additional information because it's a 13th chapter. Now equation begins from here. Now you thought you have a Kshetrajnaha. How many Kshetrajnaha we have? You have one Kshetrajnaha. Another person have one Kshetrajnaha. Because you are the indweller, knower of your body. So the neighbor who has got a knower as is indweller of the body. Now Bhagavan says all the knowers of different upadhi means body are nothing but me. He didn't say the language you see, he could have told all the knowers are one. There is only one knower who experience different sharira. He didn't put in that way. He keeps students in different level. I mean, from where students can easily understand. He says all knowers of all the sharira means kshetrajna of all kshetra is nothing but me. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu in all shariras, in all kshetra. Now you can take all the meaning. So kshetra means this individual body. Even the nature, the world, all the objects are called kshetra. Now the kshetras are defined as a name and form. They are given different name and form. So this sharira is known as Guhatman. Now this book is something different than me. So I have the experience, that this object is other than me. I have a gap between. I am not that book. Book is not me. Now Bhagavan can say the book which has got the knower. Book becomes a kshetra. And this body is also called a kshetram. The space in between also called kshetram. Now 5 elements are nothing but kshetram. All the materials with the different forms are called kshetram. Every kshetra has got the knower, means illuminer of that particular kshetra. All kshetras are none other than me, my God. Now I was thinking I am the kshetrajnaha, that I am individual kshetrajnaha. Now Bhagavan says you are not you, you are me, my dear. What a language is it? Is it not confusing? No, it is not at all confusing. The I is common with all. So many things are common with us. The sleep is common. Is there any different sleep experience? So I don't know, because the experience of sleep of an animal, the experience of sleep of a human, both will be the same. Hunger is the same, thirst is the same. The experience of hunger, experience of thirst, and the experience of the self-existence, everything is same. When you get angry, you may respond or react in different way. The experience of anger is the same, jealousy is the same. So many similarities. But when you get angry, you can be calm enough. Somebody else, when he gets angry, he can break the things. The expression is different. The causes may be also different. But the anger, thirst, all the emotions are common. But they are endowed with different responses. But the I, which doesn't have difference at all, the I which is experienced by you in the form of Rama, Krishna, Vasudeva, in the form of Ganesha, Ganapati, Vighneshwara, all I's are experienced as a first person. No difference in it. Because the I which is not modified by the Sharira, the Kshetra doesn't have the capacity to modify or to limit the Kshetrajnaha. Kshetra Kshetrajnayor Jnanam Yatta Jnanam Matam Mama. The knowledge about Kshetram and Kshetrajnaha, then the oneness of Kshetram and Kshetrajnaha is the knowledge of Vedanta. If you are able to define the difference between these two, then you are called a Jnani. Bhagavan Krishna beautifully concludes. But there is explanation by Acharya we have to go about. We will go from the next section. Now we are very clear about two things. So we have two realities, Kshetram and Kshetrajnaha. Kshetrajnaha, who is real nature of my system. So that is me, which is not a product, a property, or a part of this body, but it all pervades my body. Being pervaded, being as a pervading object, it is not an object, it is always subject. The I, which experienced by all the creatures, is one and the same. There are no many eyes, only one eye. That eye connects every creature. This is known as IQ. So this is how the chapter begins. We will continue class by class. We will develop Aikya Bhava and we will understand the glory of Ishvara. Definitely. We will meet in the next session tomorrow. Harihi Om. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.